Well, give me a minute. I don't know if we have a stream or what. I guess we do. Stand by because it was like a collapse crash. We're okay though. Anyway, welcome to the show. Chats are open. I guess we're on just YouTube. How funny is that? How funny is that? Anyway, cool. We're good. Chats are open. Tonight, it's kind of a special show. Special show. Why? Because it's me. No researchers. No hoopty-yah. Just me, my own research. Having fun, doing something that is a pet peeve. Yeah. Pet peeve of mine. I know it's going to piss off people. Excuse me. I've been doing a lot of work today. You know, went to the gym, did some PT, did the old new treadmill with the, what is it called? The Advanced Plus aerobic, not the up and down the hill thing, but the Advanced Plus. Yep, quads are on fire. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. POP, piss off the police. Yeah, that's what POP means in law enforcement. POPS means piss off police show, which is probably what this one's going to be. And unfortunately, it was weird. Kind of an odd crash. Maybe it'll pick up later. But anyway, fit or fat. Dumb, just done and over. Fit or fat. I'm going to show you something. I had somebody send this to me, and it was pretty cool. I just, you know, it's probably AI. It's probably, you know, just made for giggles and entertainment. But let me make this a little bigger so that we can kind of see it. Yeah, I want everybody to see this. I want everybody to see it. Now, is this real or is this AI? Is it real? Yeah, well, I'm thinking it's AI because the cop's head was, you know, the bushes, the leaves. Just this. See, you know, the cop's head's green. It's like the headless horseman cop, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? But just wanted everybody to take a shot at that for a minute because it's, you know, it's pretty funny. It's also pretty embarrassing, really embarrassing. Law enforcement. The numbers do not lie, all right, period, in research. Now, why I said this was a pet peeve of mine. Yeah, a lot of time in law enforcement, a lot of time in the military. Now, trust me, you know, I'm not the Olympian. I'm not the Adonis of Greece. I'm not the, you know, superstar of everything. But I can still break you in the gym. I can still hurt you in a Krav training day. I can still keep up with you running. I had a friend of mine, a major metropolitan city PD. They had an officer that was so big that the officer broke the seat of the car, and it was an Impala. Now, mind you, those in law enforcement know those Impalas are pieces of crap. They're garbage, okay? They were garbage from the get-go. Chevy's worst invention for a police car, and law enforcement's biggest mistake to try to say, hey, we're going to get a car that'll supersede something we've got. But so big that the person broke the seat. So big the officer broke the seat. 40% of officers are obese compared to 32% of the general population. 40 freaking percent. This was research that was a longitudinal study started in 2020. Longitudinal, all the way up to 2024. Longitudinal, a few years. Can't use 2025 because, not enough time for peer review, but that 4-year longitudinal series, and it's not historically a phenomenon. Hatley, 2011, the research. Same thing. Same numbers, but the numbers were much more drastic back then in 2011. Within 5 years of graduating an academy, any academy in the United States, officers show significant body mass gains and declining physical performance, vertical jumps, push-ups, aerobic capacity. One would say, well, they're too busy, the job, the family, the this, the that, the soccer games, I'm in a university. I'm trying to go to school, and while I'm in law enforcement, protecting society with my overweightness, obesity, we're not talking about just big people. We're going to get into that. No, that's not what we're talking about. You're just fat. It's not stress. You've gotten lazy. You got the job. You got through the academy. Now you're there. Now there's no reason. Anybody know anybody that, got married and let it all go to shit? Yeah, I'm married. I don't have to go to the gym anymore. Yeah. Male and female. It's just that thing. It's just that phenomenon we have to witness every day and be embarrassed about in society. Yeah, I said embarrassed. Leo, military, embarrassed. Yeah, embarrassed. Even in my own city the other day. See, we have this office. It's a meeting office for task force, for officers, for, municipalities, sheriff, and some feds, because, it's all there. Matter of fact, saw it yesterday. Matter of fact, had a conversation with my class, senior seminar at the university. I almost vomited in my mouth because I walked out of the gym when apparently the fantastic brief was over and everybody was going to their cars, getting their kit. Those law enforcement, military know what I'm saying, getting their kit. And I saw so much stretch and so much screaming cummerbund issues. And I'm not talking about sippies. I'm talking about full, the cheap ass, law enforcement ones, the full that everybody likes to pack on a cargo case, or something really cool on the weave, mold it in, make it look good. The cummerbunds were screaming, so much Velcro up front and very little Velcro underneath the panel. Yeah. It made me want to kind of throw up in my mouth a little bit. Just freaking embarrassed. Yeah. Embarrassed because I go to the gym with a lot of people that know my background, my profession, and they were out there looking in shock and in amazement, looking at me like, hey, look at this. Look, those are your guys. No, they're not my guys. So there's no excuse. All these excuses that one would make up in law enforcement, within the first 5 years, 4 years, it's busy. No. What do you want, a pat on the butt and an excuse? Think about those people that deploy overseas and have to stay in shape, deal with the stress, deal with the things that you're not dealing with. And they're also law enforcement, but they're deployed, National Guard, they're deployed on federal orders, activated, but when they get back home and get off the active orders after being deployed, now they're going back to their job. They're not rotundously huge and break car seats. Yeah, I know. Piss off the police. Is what it is. It's a scary topic for police chiefs. It's a scary topic for sheriffs. It's a scary topic for administrators. It's a scary topic at the federal level for administration. Is what it is. You ever see the TV show to where you see the FBI and the techs coming in and the people that work for the FBI and those tan or coyote tan pants are screaming. I mean, they're screaming. Just going crazy. Looks like we got a few show issues going on. I don't know, but it's still going on YouTube, so we're here on YouTube. The society view of fit or fat. Yeah, fit or fat. The public expects protectors, but sees expanding butts and waistlines. Yes, You've been to the fair, you've been to the circus, you have to be this tall to ride this ride, the safety mechanism, the seat belt, the post that holds you in the ride. You've got to be fit for the circus event. You got to be fit for the carnival ride. Well, you got to be fit for the job in law enforcement also. Literature, reviews, research. And I spent damn near, over the period of time, 3 weeks just reading and reviewing, amongst other things that I had to do, personal life, professional life, training, and all kinds of, so I've got time. Why don't you? Overweight officers, 20 to 26% worse performance after 5 years. Push-ups, sit-ups, aerobic activity, higher injury rates too. Higher injury, just hurt, not fit, not the one that can do the 100-yard dash. It's painful, breaking bones, pulling muscles, costing taxpayers money while your obesity is in the hospital because you did not care for yourself when you should be caring for yourself so that you can care for society. It's just the way it is. Fit officers demonstrate superior performance. Done. In judgment also, not just physical ability, but judgment. Why? The cortisol. You're not stressed. The blood, the heart, it's stressed, so you're not getting enough blood to that brain. So now your brain is frontal cortex confused. Vision, hearing, amygdala, the processing. The historical venue, open up the hippocampus, the limbic system. What do I do now at the drop of a hat? Nope. All that cortisol sucking all that blood. That's kind of why you don't see any big, gigantic monsters like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, swollen up, Aqua Boys in special operation groups, in the military, in SWAT teams. They're not huge. They're fit, but they're not monstrous. Why? All that meat and all that muscle requires blood, requires protein. It has to be fed. Think of the Marine Corps. Slim and built and slim and a monster. Yeah, that's the whole purpose of it. Yep, demonstrate superior performance on the job, physically, cognitively, and scholarly, particularly in communication and use of force judgments. Yeah. Yep. 11% reduction. Fit officer compared to unfit officer. Why? The unfit officer is now not ready for the fight. The unfit officer is not ready for the fandango. The unfit officer is not ready for the final finality. It's officer presence, soft empty hand, hard empty hand. Damned be the taser. Damned be the chem. Damned be the monadnock asp, the impact weapon. Let's just go to deadly force because we're so out of shape that we're scared now that we're done. We've lost the fight. Someone's going to take the final elevation from me, the deadly force from me, and use it against me. Yeah, 11% reduction. Yes. You don't believe me? Do your own research. Shoot me an email, drmikebg@gmail.com. I will send it to you. You can read it for yourself. Social impact. What about the society impact? And this is not just me as a pet peeve in law enforcement. Who feels safe when you go to Walmart? Let me see your receipt. What are you accusing me of shoplifting? What are you, 90 years old? You look like the old lady in the potato chip aisle? What, are you going to chase me down for my receipt? No. Sociological. What do you think society sees? Unfit, overweight, society impact, poor fitness. Yeah. That's the police image. That's law enforcement's image. I was going down the road today. For those of you that kind of know something about me, you kind of know where I live, but there's a highway called Highway 64 and there's a school. And there were two sheriff's department cars. There was a big event or something, and they were sitting on the road, with the blue light cars, given a lot of traffic. And when you see the cops on the phone, and they're on the phone, and let me get kind of sideways, and they're down so, and you can see everything. It's not just the body armor. It's not just the kit. It's what the, and these were not older dudes. These were young guys. Young. Poor fitness. Yeah. Compensation for it. Where's the compensation? The compensation is you get to be taken care of by the taxpayer dollar. It reduces operational readiness, period. It hurts operational readiness. Dissemination of labor, manpower. Where's it going to go? Who's going to choose you to fill an operational position in a new division? It's hard enough. Take Memphis. Take Memphis as the example. Task Force Scorpion. Got guys and girls coming from new divisions to build up Task Force Scorpion. Well, let's fashion it after Hound Dog. Pardon me, I got to fix my motorcycle shirt. Been working all day. Even worked on my bikes, too. We need officers for this new division. We're going to mimic it after Hound Dog in Atlanta. Who's going to give somebody their best officer? Now you're going to get the worst officers. Intellect, cognitive, and physically fit. Yeah, even those officers in Memphis. The Tyree case. Every one of them. All of them. Thick, fat, robust. Yeah. Yeah. Especially the guy that did the kicking and hobbled around the street in his car, cussing and screaming because he kicked the man and hurt himself. I want to go to that school, hold somebody up and punch them and kick them. But, you know, what do you know? That acquittal. Oh, yeah, that acquittal happened. Wouldn't want to pay for more medical evaluations while they're in prison. Better medical service than society, so to say. Fit for duty. Let's break it down. And like I said, like the commercial. And hold on a minute. Let's just show the commercial. The commercial that we put on Facebook, just to see if we could catch an attention, eye or two with the police. Let's watch it. I'm not going to ask if you want to watch it. Let's just watch it.
Choose your option. Option 1, the accountability hook. If your daughter is being stabbed in a parking lot, do you want the cop who can sprint 100 yards and take the killer down, or the one who needs to catch his breath walking from his car? Tonight, we're talking about fat cops, failed fitness, and the public safety line no one wants to call out. Option 2, the data hook. 40% of police officers are obese. Not overweight, obese. That's worse than the general population they're supposed to protect. Tonight, why can't your protectors protect themselves, and what that costs you in blood and money? Option 3, the confrontation hook. We need to talk about the 300-pound officer in tactical gear who can't run a city block. Not tomorrow. Not politely. Tonight. Because when the shooting starts, fitness isn't vanity, it's the difference between a saved life and a body bag.
So, yeah, the old hook, the old commercial. And I'm kind of looking backwards here a little bit weird because, yep, Rumble picked back up and X picked back up. So we're pretty good. We're pretty good. Apparently there was a oddity, stupidity crash. But the numbers don't lie. And they're getting worse, mind you. Way worse. Let's talk about a few things. Let's talk about fit for duty. Police work requires sprinting. Yes, running. Not shaking the ham. Running. After suspects. Chasing them. I worked for, my very first agency was, a smaller agency. But it was an agency that had a really, well-known, notorious police chief for enforcing the law. Getting out there, chasing it down. If it had rabbit, you chased it. If it had bulldog, well, you gave it some bulldog back. And then my second apartment was with the sheriff that had a policy. If it fought, it better go to the trauma center. Now, this is, back then. But it wasn't everybody had to go to the trauma center. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is their policy was be fit and ready to do your job. It requires sprinting, physical control, resisting arrestees, dragging down partners in domestic violence incidences, or dragging civilians to safety. Oh, my gosh. Fighting for your life. It's not negotiable. Physical fitness is mental fitness. If you're not physically fit, you have a low self-esteem, low self-worth. The pageantry of getting ready in the morning, putting on the kit, putting on the uniform, putting on the gear. You're looking in the mirror saying, I look good. People are going to feel safe with me. Some people think that, and they're obese. And it's not good for the image. It's not good for public safety. It's just not good police work at all. It's bad. It's embarrassing. And I know this is the show that says, hey, No holds barred? Yeah, it is. From an academic guy to university that has police experience, military experience, law enforcement, investigation. I've been in those chases. I've been in those fights. I've been through those doors with guns punched out and guns pointed at me. No, I don't need that on the sector or section with me. I don't need it. I don't need it. There is no data point that one could get that could validate that. Don't need that. Overweight officers. This is just research what I'm about to state here to you. All right. And this comes from Dawes from 2018, 2020, 2022, and 2024. Officers hit 87% of maximum heart rate during defensive tactic training as compared to 82 for healthy weight officers. 87 overweight. One would think, well, that's not a big percentage. That's just six. Okay. Well, think of your temperature, man. It's 6 degrees over normal. Well, you just got a 102. Let's just go 6 degrees higher. 104, people are panicking. What about a 106? People are losing their mind. You're going to die. You're going to cook yourself. Where's the bathtub full of ice? That heart rate. Yeah, that heart rate. Because the bigger you are, the bigger the heart rate, the bigger the heart is. So the more higher the heart rate gets, because the more the body needs blood. Now the more the body is slaving, hurting for blood, for oxygen. All those muscles that are surrounded by fat, that liver, that heart that is surrounded by cortisol, it's being restricted. And all those organs that are surrounded by minute areas of cortisol are now being restricted. Yep. You're not going to get the sprinter, are you? You're going to get the one that lasts a couple of seconds. You know, that's one thing I prided myself on. I'm just saying it, you know. I went through, when I went through the academy way back when, good God, I can't even remember the year I went through the academy. It was Malota, Mississippi. I don't know what it's like now, but I know back when I went through, came straight out of the military. I came out of MTI. Drill instructor, MTI. I went through MTIS, but when I came out of that, I was ASS, OSS, 9th Recon. You know, and it got compared to, you know, people ask me, how do you compare that, you know, in a selection line and the police academy? Is what it is. I mean, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't hard. But still, there was discipline there. And we fought a lot. We fought. We actually had state troopers that were MMA guys. I'm talking like award-winning MMA guys came in and, you know, fought with us and taught us how to do some of their cool stuff. Unrestricted by, mind you. They showed us the rules of, you know, the MMA world and told us how it does work there, but this is how it's really done in the real world. Well, those heart rates were accelerated, yes. I must say I was pretty dadgum good at it. Yep, pretty good at it. And the head cadre guy now, who was the head cadre guy when I went through the academy, he's a full-blown sheriff right now. Well-deserved. Police, state trooper, and now he's a sheriff. Pretty good. A guy in Mississippi, for those of you who want to do, oh, screw it, I'll just say it. Sheriff Tuggle, DeSoto County. Great guy. Good mentor. Good leader. Research shows officers' fitness correlates with communication effectiveness and the use of force judgment. Yeah. The unfit officers make worse decisions. That is Beck, starting since 2015, all the way to 2018, 2020, 22, 23. Nothing out for 24, 25 yet, but this is like Beck et al., meaning there are multiple people, not just one guy, multiple researchers. And if you want their, you know, research, send me an email, yeah, right there. I can't even cross it, right there. You guys know what I'm saying. This is kind of my show, so I'm not really taking it as hardcore as I'm taking it when I'm representing my researchers. I'll just put it up there anyway. These are the researchers that have done a lot of research with me in the past. I want to be Chloe Hensley, Dylan, and J, Big A, JJ, Big A, JJ. Yep, bad decisions when it comes to self-defense, use of force, officer presence all the way to deadly force. Damn the compodium, damn the force continuum. I'm getting hurt because I can't stand my own ground. Fat, sick, and dying, the occupational hazard that no one wants to talk about. I will. Why? Because I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it in 2 departments. I've seen it in task force work. I've seen it in the military. I've seen it in investigations. I've seen it at high risk entry. I've seen it at possibly a volatile, violent situations to where officers, go home and then they can't come to work next day. I've even seen through fire marshal SWAT members that go through these time periods of high stress and they have heart attacks. Yeah. You make the team. Now it's time to get lazy. You're a part of the team. You're a good old boy. The guy who's the commander, the prior special warfare Navy SWIC diver bomber self-claim guy, you were part of the team now. He loved you. Now you were there. So no need anymore. Let's go drink till 2 a.m. What good did that do? Well, I had a good friend of mine who was a fire marshal who died after a SWAT call out. Yep. He was a, what one would be compared to as a TCCC or TECC, but he was a certified paramedic, and he was originally paramedic, went to fire marshal's office, but we needed a paramedic and we needed a trauma medic, TECC, for the SWAT teams, and there were 3 teams, and we needed him. So we got a call out. He got a call out on his team. We had 4 medics. We got another medic, but the next day, dropped, dead as a hammer, heart attack, massive coronary. Why? Cortisol, liver, heart, kidneys. Not taking care of himself. Good guy, smart dude, dead. Officers demonstrate higher cardiovascular disease rates, period. This is from Zimmerman, 2012, and it rates all the way to Anderson and Violenti, which is all the way up to 2025, this year. Now, that's not peer reviewed yet, 2025, but I did read it, and I am including it because it was pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Yep. Officers demonstrate higher cardiovascular disease than those in the general population, despite medical screening at hiring. It's hard to catch unless you're testing for it. You got to pass the physical for the department. Chats are open. You got to pass the physical for the department. Oh my gosh. It's minimum. Can you bend over? Can you do a push-up? Can you run? Can you see this? Can you read this on a board? Blood. Can you hear? Nobody's judging the way you look. Nobody's looking at it like saying, nope, size 5X large, you're not going to make it, you're at risk. No, because some agencies, as the show the other night, have to fill the shoes, have to fill the boots, so to say. Let me see. We're good. We're good on YouTube. We're good on, we're good on Rumble. Remember, you don't have to hit the like. You don't have to hit the subscribe. It is what it is. If you do, hit the like. But like the topic, because it's sociological base. Shift work for law enforcement officers. All right. Shift work disrupts the rhythm. Period. The circadian rhythm, the body, the stress levels, the cortisol, the poor dietary habits, the combined creation for the perfect combination for early life cardio events, heart attacks, dying. Yeah. And this guy's saying it, So somebody's like, oh, I heard that guy. Who is that guy? Dr. Michael Gurley. Yeah, that's me. That's me. Do your research. You don't have to. It's my information's out there. It's public, man. Even AI, I did it in class the other day. Yeah, I did. Did it in class the other day. We were like researching everybody. And then I even put, hey, Dr. Mike Gurley, is he full of crap or is he a badass? And then it came back. Badass, not an armchair academic. Yeah, it was pretty funny. We were using Claude AI for those. We were just playing around with it, trying to break Claude, confuse Claude. But we did for a little bit. It caught up, though. Yeah, shift work, the habits. Let's not eat good. Let's go to Wendy's every day. Let's go to the fat Mexican restaurant every day. I see that all the time in my town. It's horrible. State trooper cars at the crappy barbecue pit. Police cars, I can't eat that stuff, man. It makes me sick. I mean, honestly, it makes me sick. I've gotten too used to deer meat, just meat, no fat, a little bit, some beef, but cut all the fat off. Real chickens, grown, not bleached out store eggs. Actually taking care of yourself, being able to run the treadmill for a mile at elevations of 4, 5, and 6. It's going to hurt you. It's not easy. I never said it was easy. You're going to huff and you're going to puff, but you can do it because you don't quit. It's kind of like Goggins now, 51 years old, going through the pararescue PJ pipeline. I can't wait to see the results of that. It's going to be bad, and good for the Air Force both ways, and for Goggins both ways. Bad, good. It's going to be great. For those of you who don't know, just research pararescue Goggins. He was security forces, TAC-P, then went into Navy SEALs, and now he's apparently doing the pararescue PJ pipeline. My opinion, the hardest pipeline there is in special operations, special forces, special warfare. It's not just physical. It'll dilapidate you. If you get hurt, who do you call? PJ, pararescue. It doesn't matter who you are. Yeah, that's the baddest of the baddest. So I was a Delta Ranger Space Shuttle alien killer. Were you a PJ? No, don't care. Let me see. We're seeing what's happening right here. We're getting an alert from YouTube. Apparently YouTube's having retardation problems too. Fit officers remain injury-free. Yeah, for up to 9 months on average versus 4 months of unfit officers. Now, this study was Loki 2025, LOCKIE, and it was ETR, which means there's a lot of other researchers to certify this research, vet it, bona fide on, just give it a little bit of credibility, so to say. It's a comparison as injuries, longitudinal, multiple agencies, information taken for injuries and time spans between injuries. Those that were actually fit for the job, the majority had longer longitudinal distances in injury versus those that were unfit. This is an operational math effect that affects every division: patrol, investigations, K9, fugitive recovery. I don't care if you're an SRO or the stop sign police. It's going to affect dissemination of labor. It's going to affect response. It's going to affect the community. Yeah, you don't have enough. It's already hard enough recruiting law enforcement, let alone, it's freaking horrible, man. We're not even going to get into it. I could get into it all day long, but I think, the majority of society right now is smart enough to pick up on what I'm trying to lay down here. We'll cover a few more things. I know it's a Friday night. I didn't want to make this a long, drawn-out thing. I just wanted to give an opportunity for people to say, hey, Doc, email me that research so I can actually see what's really happening. Plus, the old YouTube and the Rumble. I don't know what the heck that was. Society View: when an officer goes out on disability for a knee that's blown from obesity, let me just put this in simple words: overweight, fat, blown knee, blown ankle, because the performance level wasn't there, but not from the heroic action or the heroic arrest, the community loses a responder and gains a liability. Yeah. The community loses. One would say, well, the officer got hurt out there serving the community. The community was, well, that's just one aspect of the community. There are some genuine needs in the community, some genuine needs in society for fit law enforcement, not Jabba the cop. Yeah, whatever that is, or however that person would actually talk. Let's cover a few more things. The taxpayer foots the bill. Failed health. Who pays for all of that medical treatment? You do, the tax guy, the tax girl, the one that pays it. Yeah. You've always heard, well, I pay your salary, I pay those taxes. Well, you don't pay all of it. Mind you, when you say stuff like that, that just shows your ignorance and your stupidity. You're not paying the salary. Something else is. And if you really think you are, please continue and give those guys and girls a raise, because you're not paying enough. The taxpayer foots the bill. Workers' compensation. Yep. From a preventable injury, fitness-related injuries. Fitness, out of shape, fat, nasty. Yeah, I said it. Things that the police chiefs won't say. Things that society talks about, but society will not tell a cop or law enforcement or Leo to their face. A disgusting disgrace. You're a risk. Yeah. The municipal budget of the city or the county is sucked. You can't even get additional equipment for the officers that are fit to, perform their job. Hell, spending all that money on the broke officer, out of shape officers, fit or fat. spending all that money for the hospital and the medical insurance and the rehabilitation and the fixing this, fixing that, fixing this. You could have been buying gym equipment. Heck, I mean, come on. It's not rocket science. Early medical retirements. It costs departments millions. Do your own research. I did. Not hundreds, not thousands, millions. In this past decade, millions. That's millions of dollars for medical retirements because I hurt myself. Job I fell down the stairs chasing somebody. Job I couldn't make it up the stairs, 5 flights of stairs. Had a heart attack at the 4th, exchange. Pretty sad. It's kind of like seeing all these, guys and girls that are, guys and girls, male, female, cop, whatever, however the heck you identify. Whatever it is. Overweight. Intact gear. I want to know what company makes. I've seen it. I saw it the other day. I mean, I was, talking to a few other Leo friends and, talking to some, crime scene techs and patrol guys and some Fed guys too. I'm like, where do you get that stuff that big? I barely fit into a large. Barely. I'm like in the child mixed growth stage between medium and large. It also depends on the company and the manufacturer. Everybody understands that, right? But I'm 6'2" and I can barely fit into a large. I have to adjust things and make things happen. Even if I have a range day with, friends of mine, military and law enforcement, if it's hot or if it's summer and I haven't been in like a 2 or 3 weeks to one specific range to where it's like in the sun, but the ranges I was in were indoors controlled. You start shredding weight, you have to readjust everything. So I'm in that, everybody knows what I'm talking about. I'm in that kid stage, the Granule Kmart stage. Is what it is. But 5X, I mean, where do you buy that? I mean, there are plenty of stores around me. I've never seen it that big, but I saw it the other day. I didn't know what to think, guys. Put it in the chat if you're here. If anybody's listening, put it in the chat. Have you ever seen anybody in like first responder equipment, first responder gear that was so stretched out and so big, and you're like, where in the hell did they get that size? I mean, this is just me. I mean, the commercial's been out. The commercial was out for a while. This is the no holds barred. It's the punch. Now, there's a difference between big and overweight, fat, obese, unhealthy. There is. We're not talking about, a big cornbread person that's just big. I'm 6'2", but I'm not like huge. There are guys and girls my size that are 6'3", 6'4", and they're just genetics, man. That's like, a Viking or something. It just is what it is. We're not talking about that. We're talking about you're big and you're a fan of the cupcake aisle. Yeah, you're a future candidate for a medical retirement. You're a future candidate for hurting your department, hurting your city, hurting your county, hurting the sociological viewpoint aspect of law enforcement. Defund the police. Yeah, defund the police. Mother of God, yes. Defund me saying, yes, defund the police through physical fitness and assessment. Defund them. Take that money away for departments that do not have mandatory quarterly physical assessment. Physical. Now, no. So I'm going to get an email later about this. Do you do PT or you? Yeah, I do. Every damn day. Let me repeat this. Yes, I do. Every damn day. Why? I love myself. I want to live. I don't want to run up the hill to my pasture and break an ankle and I can't make it back to my house. For me to run from my house to the backside of my pasture, it's like miles. But what if I have to go work with one of my, cattle? How am I going to get there if I hear it? Side-by-side truck? No. I'm on foot. I'm fishing at the dock. It's a 3-mile jaunt when I hear the cattle screaming. And those of you that have cattle, you can hear it over 3 miles. A trauma scream versus a pissed off. You know the sound, kind of like a human being. The yell for "we love you" versus the yell "we need you." Always hated that. You know, people, the yell. People hear the yelling and they think, oh, they're clear cheering for you. Yay, come up the hill. Yay, don't quit, buddy. Don't quit. And it makes the person happy, but they still don't have it in them. They still quit anyway. That's the wrong approach. You're fat, you're out of shape. Treat it like they're screaming at you because they need you to save their life. Light a fire. Get your butt up the hill. Light a fire. Get up the stairs. Light a fire. Wake up. Stop eating crap. Stop the cortisol. Guys, cortisol is easier to lose than standard non-cortisol fat. You can lose it. And if you get out there and do something, you can lose non-cortisol fat. You can lose. It's not hard. Get off your butt. Walk. Walking with a partner, walking with a friend is great, man. It's a good stress relief. It's a good cortisol burner. 20, 30 minutes. 20 minutes out that way, open table, you talk. 20 minutes back this way, flip-flop. Stress relief. Physical. Yeah, you're not even thinking about it because you're in the moment. The heart rate's going, the blood. Yeah, you're there. Do something. Sick leave gaps. Oh, my God. I always hated that. God, I hated that. I can't remember any time that I ever took off of work for being sick. I can't remember. I had a few days off for injuries in the military. I had 2 weeks off, not constant, but a week, and then for one injury, then a week and then I fell out of a Pavlo. Yeah, fell out of a Pavlo. Those of you that know what a Pavlo is, it's a helicopter. Black Hawk with a vertical stab, door. Yeah. It was my fault. I missed the lanyard hook. Yep, my fault. Right out the back. One of those things, training. Wasn't a operational or soft scenario, but right out of that bitch. Beale Air Force Base. Yeah, straight out of that thing. It was ORI. Went right the hell out of it. And let me hear. I heard it go spiral fracture. Not a compound, but it was a spiral internal, not a compound fracture. No evulsative, make you want to vomit bone and marrow out. But, we had there were actually some PJs there. They were pretty good guys. They knocked my ass out real quick. I was like unconscious. Yeah, but I can't remember any time I was ever out for just being sick. Never. I can't. I honestly, I can't. I can say this with 100% assurity and commitment. I can't. I'm not saying that I haven't been sick. I'm saying I can't remember. Sick leave gaps, reduce patrol coverage. They reduce the response. It increases response times. Everybody's the dissemination of labor. Everybody's out there working because Mr. or Mrs. Unchaba Waba me caught a cold baha. Yeah, you're at the house, sniffling in your own freaking filth and grommet, sweating in your bed, and then now suddenly you're well and you're back and everybody's glad to see you again. Well, I'm not glad to see you. We had to go respond to something because you couldn't take care of yourself. Yeah, hygiene. You ever been to the VA and see the people that are affected by non-hygiene performance? Yeah. Myself and someone else got to experience that firsthand last week. And you wonder why you have medical problems. It's what it is. Police chiefs will not address it. It's the stereotypical scared of a lawsuit. And especially, and I'm just going to lay it here too, red, blue states, the mix. Is it a red state? Is it a blue state? Is it this? Is it politics? Law enforcement, CJ, is politics and money, period, anyway. Executive body runs for office, gets the office, writes a new law, legislative position. Now, and another executive side of it, the mayor hires a police chief or the sheriff gets voted in, and now it's an executive with judiciary review enforced by those that represent the city or the police chief or the sheriff or the department themselves, and they're out there first touch of judicial review of legislative written law. Politics and money. Where do you see politics and money for mandatory fitness? You see it in post standards for the academy, the entry and then the graduation. But where's the hardcore methodology for agencies? And I'm saying the area I live in, it makes me sick. I've taught classes, specific classes for law enforcement agencies. And officers come in and they can barely squeeze through. And this is like, university buildings, the big doors for, the handicap, the wheelchairs, and, is what it is. Got to have that too. That's hey, one of those things you have to contend with, but you can barely fit through the door. In law enforcement, in the police service, a Leo, judiciary review, first hands-on, saving lives, affects your cognitive ability, affects your brain, affects that electron, that proton, that neuron transmitter, that spark, that one cell that fills the neuron transmitter. Kind of like the narcotics that take the same shape that replace the, cell of the brain to fit into the neuron, all that stuff. Yours are broken because you're out of shape. The body's dilapidated. The body's hurting. The body is mixed. The empathetic, sympathetic systems of the body do not know where to send oxygen or blood. Thus, force continuum, officer presence, verbal command, no command. I got to put hands on. Now I'm getting my butt handed to me. I can't get to my taser, can't get to my spray because I'm on the ground, but I can get to my gun because somebody's trying to get my gun. Now I get to my gun, bang, bang. What could have been avoided if somebody would have been healthy enough, cognitive enough, and not stressed out enough to go into critical response, critical issue thinking, de-escalation charge, creating the reactionary gap? How about making the reactionary gap even bigger while giving verbal command and escalating times two, and then waiting for the force continuum situation to change? But no, like a pouncing monkey tiger of Cheetos and Twinkies, it just collapses. We'll close it off with this. We've already been here for 47 minutes. Like I said, I don't want to kill anybody's Friday night, but this was something I've been wanting to do. And I've got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I got 8 more segments on this list. Everybody knows what a rundown list is. I don't really call it a rundown list. I like to refer to it as a research broadcast list because it's a research channel. But tonight, I'm just going off on a whim, doing my topic, and those at, academic law enforcement level. No, I've got my strong topics and I got my direct topics. This is one of them. Be able to do your job or go get another job. And if you're in the job and you're breaking car seats or hurting yourself and costing your department in manpower, insurance, medical costs, jacking up everybody's freaking time that they have to work. Some people like to work overtime. Some people despise it because they have families. Well, I don't have time to go to the gym. I've got a family. Yeah, okay. Well, tell that to those that are deployed overseas. They don't have time. Bull crap. That's everybody gets a trophy and everybody gets a pat on the butt kind of thinking. The sociological view. Bottom line for this to close this. Well, I'm going to do this and then I'll say one more thing to close it out. Citizens are paying for protection, not funding disability pensions. That's the reality you've got to face. And this is the reality for society. You're paying out disability. I broke my fat ankle. I broke myself going up a staircase. Now I've got to retire early. So you're paying for a disability pension because the police chiefs, the sheriffs, the administration are too scared to approach this. Yes, it's a political venue. It is. I say, oh, equity, DEI, inclusion. It's just no. The bad guy is not thinking about DEI or inclusion or any of that when they're shooting a gun at civilians or society. They're not thinking about that. Why are you thinking about that? You have to be this tall to ride the ride. You have to be able to do this to get in the gym or lift the weight. Yeah, you couldn't see it, Pow. Okay. So either way it goes. Like I said, I don't wear 5X. I can barely fit into a large, man. It's like a mix. All my suits are not even big guy suits, but they're cool. Pinky Blinder suits. Yep. 3-piece gangster all the way. Citizens are paying for that, the protection. So what you're telling me, society, and I'm just hypothetically, rhetorically being a jack of, saying this, but society, you're paying a paycheck long-term for unfit, unhealthy cops, physically and mentally, to increase their odds of retiring early so they can live off of your nickel. That's the truth. Society is paying for this. Officers who ate themselves into incapacity. It's a broken social contract. It's just a broken everything. Not necessarily to say that it's a broken contract between the officer and the law enforcement agency, or the agent and the law enforcement agency, because as far as I know, I never saw a "you must stay fit" contract. I never saw that in my time. Never did. Never did. Never did. So, closing this thing out for everybody that, I don't know, maybe it was a rant, but there was a lot of research. If you want the research on it, seriously, Dr. Mike Lee G, gmail.com. I'll send it to you. I'll be more than happy. More than happy. More than happy. I'll give it to you. You can read it all yourself and watch your own jaw hit the floor with the amount of money that goes out for injuries and obesity and disability and surgery and treatment, cardiac. Oh, that's attributed to police work. No, they were fat when they got there. They weren't fat when they graduated the academy, but they were fat 2 years after it. Closing. A fat cop is a liability to their partners. The ones that they work on the shift with, the ones that they work in the divisions with. It's a drain on the department. It's a danger. It's a simple danger to the community. It's a walking contradiction. Yeah, a walking contradiction to the purpose of law enforcement. Why are you out there? Protect and serve what? Go protect the chip aisle in Walmart? Fitness is not a vanity, people. We're not talking about looking sexy. We're not talking about looking Adonis. If you're in the job that requires physical fitness, high demand of physical response, stress, emotional, all the baggage that comes with it, you've got to be ready for it. You can't drop the ball on it. Fitness is not vanity. Nobody cares about how pretty you are. The bad guy, the bad girl, the suspect. Society does not care if, oh my God, Buffy or Biff show up looking great and sexy in a cop bikini. No. I was about to say cop bikini. Whatever. I've never seen one of those either. So nobody cares about what you look like. The vanity is not optional. Nobody gives a crap. Nobody gives a damn. It's not negotiable. It's an essential job part, essential job function to stay in shape. That's like your equipment. If you're not taking care of yourself, that should tell society too. You're not taking care of your equipment either. Anybody ever seen? Here's a challenge. I'm not saying walk up on it and close that gap, but I'm saying just look at an officer's uniform. Look at their kit. Look at their gear. See where that dust level and that dirt level is. That'll tell you. And I'm going to be honest. The ones that are obese, fat, and out of shape, they're going to have a lot of dust dirt level. Yeah, because they haven't spent the time to go through their equipment. Go through it. I went through mine all the time. I go through mine every damn week that I do now when I'm out training and working with law enforcement on the range and military people on the range. Yeah. And those that know me know I'm 6'2", but I am not size XXX or barely size large, man. Barely. Now, if I did the Twinkie and ho-ho and, fat cop in the chip aisle, sure, I could get there to XX. Maybe, or 3 or 4X. I don't know. Society's watching, people. Society's recording it. I know. I've had it recorded on my dash cam in my car. I've got the Eagle system, all 4, views. In my 6.5 Tahoe. Yes. For those of you that are cops, you know what I mean. I've got it in mine. I got it on camera. That's why I said, I'm going to go ahead and do this show, because it's spring break. Starting Monday, so I gave the researchers some spring break time. Yes, focus on you, because I'm going to focus on me. PT Fit, I'm going to go hit that freaking new machine that goes from 2 to 6 and own it. It's kind of like the theory. If you can do it 10 times in a gym, it's yours, you own it. Yeah. Here it is. It's the crisis. Now, open your eyes when you're out there in society and look around. Look around. How safe do you really feel? Do you trust that officer so-and-so or agent so-and-so or sheriff so-and-so or whoever that's a Leo is going to be able to make that reactionary distance closure in that gap to save a life? I do not, and I see a lot of it. If this guy doesn't believe it's 100% reliable, why should you? But go out there and just take eyeballs and look for yourself. Look around. Ask questions. Literally go up to a cop. Why are you obese and fat when you're a cop? I know. Somebody said, this guy just told me to walk up to a cop, a law enforcement officer, and ask, why are you obese and fat and you're a cop or sheriff's deputy or an agent? Do you not have a duty to stay fit, to perform your job in order to effectively support society. Problem-oriented policing, community-oriented policing. Last time I heard, there weren't gang wars in the Twinkie aisle. I don't know. Maybe there are. Maybe there are Bloods and Crips fighting over potato chips. I don't know. Yakuza, the Mafia, or the Triad. Conspiracy against the IRGC and other terrorist groups. But, and the candy store. Who knows, man? Somebody's got to investigate it and work it out, right? Make sure that stuff tastes good. Yeah, that's a joke, people. Have a good night. Stay fit. And from a Leo, military guy, academic guy, professor, to all of you in society, don't believe it's always true. They're not there to protect you. And this comes from a guy with experience. They're not. You're the first response. Thus the term in the Constitution, the militia, society, the people. We're not talking about stupid groups and, UHA and all these dumbass groups out there, extremist groups and wackadoodle groups. We're not talking about that. We're talking about society, the people, the compass of the people. You're there to protect yourself. You don't have a cop in your pocket. And if it's nothing but a bunch of obesity, fat, nasty cops in your neighborhood, trust me, you don't want that fat cop in your pocket because it's going to slow you down and you're not going to be able to do that 100-yard dash. Yep. I know. What an odd show, right? Who liked the commercials? Have a good night.